Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's Meet the Airline with Faremine and Singapore Airlines. Our special guest today is Joe Talbot, and he'll be taking you through all the product information, routes, cabins, all the usual stuff, and we will have a quiz at the end. So again, keep your ears listening out. It will be a QR code like we normally do. So if you scan the QR code, we are only keeping it open until 5:30 tonight, and the winner will be announced tomorrow on our social media feed. So do look out for those as well. So good luck to everybody for that. So just a quick one on Faremine and the fare types that we have with Singapore. So you will see a wide range. You'll see the published fares. We also have the IT and the cruise IT as well, the seat only fares, and we are also distributing the NDC content as well. Now, Singapore is the only airline that we are distributing the IT via the NDC channels at the minute. So you've got lots of options there for your clients. So look out for those. Joe will obviously take you through a lot more information in his slides that are to follow. If you do have any questions, I will cover the chat, and Joe's happy for me to interrupt him. So just pop any questions on the chat and we'll answer them as best we can throughout, and we will have the usual Q&A at the end as well. So I just want to thank you all for your time today. I want to thank you, Joe, as well. And on that note, Joe, I will hand over to you.
Thanks so much, Angela, and yeah, appreciate everyone tuning in today. I'll just take 1 second to get my slides onto the screen, and then we can start going through. So, and again, yeah, please ask any questions that you might have. There will be time at the end, but yeah, equally happy to be interrupted as we go through if there's any burning questions you want to ask about Singapore Airlines, our network product or otherwise, and then this is the opportunity. So that very much is the agenda of today's presentation. We're going to look at kind of where we fly from and to, some of the key points for you guys to be selling to your customers, how we fly people. So we'll look at the product on board, the different cabin classes, and some of the selling points that will help you in your day-to-day when talking about Singapore Airlines. And then we'll also talk about a little bit some of the extras, so things like the food and drink on board, some of the extra services that we offer our customers that again make up that total Singapore Airlines package. So I'll first start with a video to hopefully kickstart things in style.
The horizon, a symbol of consistency. New adventures, endless possibilities. This year, with Singapore Airlines, the world is your horizon. Wishlist destinations, spontaneous escapes, iconic skylines, the first light of dawn, the final glow of dusk. Wherever your horizons lead, count on us to take you further. With crew who feel like family, unmatched comfort in seats made for dreaming, across all of our cabins, this year with Singapore Airlines, the world is your horizon.
Excellent, thank you so much. Yeah, that was yeah, it captures those core things I was talking about: the network, some of the amazing places we fly to, how we fly people, the different cabins, and then you saw a bit of the service as well. So our cabin crew very much look after all our customers and do a great job doing so, and one of the key selling points of Singapore Airlines. So where do we fly from in the UK? There are 3 departure points from the UK that we want you to know about. Our biggest one in terms of volume is our London Heathrow. That's 4 flights daily from London Heathrow. That includes 2 of the A380s, so the biggest aircraft in our network. So a huge volume out of London Heathrow. And then a couple of years ago, we were really pleased to introduce London Gatwick as well. So complementing our Heathrow service, we now have 2 daily flights from London Gatwick. So that's a big uplift from us in increasing capacity out of the London region. So please bear that in mind. If you didn't already know that we do fly from London Gatwick as well, so it's worth bearing that in mind. It's worth bearing in mind as well, those London Gatwick services have increased in frequency. So they were 1 daily, they've moved to 2 daily during the summer, and then from October that's going to be instilled as a permanent addition of 2 daily flights from October this year. So at the moment, actually, from a availability point of view, so if you are looking for flights for customers, London Gatwick has got slightly better availability than our Heathrow because the flights were loaded later. So worth bearing that in mind if you do have customers in and around south of London region down to Brighton, etc. That nice catchment area for Gatwick. There's some good options in some of the lower RBDs, lower booking classes, i.e. lower fares available to your customers. So bear that in mind. And then last but certainly not least, and local to myself, is our Manchester flight as well. So a big change here is that we've recently moved that to a daily operation, which I hope is very well received from any agents in and around the Manchester airport catchment area. That allows hopefully customers less of that guessing in terms of we used to be 5 times a week. So now consistent service from Manchester, which we're really pleased to have for our customers up in the north. So there are 3 departure points in the UK. It's worth bearing in mind, as I was speaking about our Heathrow flight being the biggest frequency. So one of the advantages there from Heathrow is that we have this lounge feature that you're looking at. So this is our dedicated Silvergris lounge at London Heathrow. If you noted from the last slide, we use a partner lounge from Gatwick and from Manchester, whereas our lounge here is specifically for us, Singapore Airlines Silvergris Lounge, and it had a refurbishment again about 2 years ago. And it was one of the first in the network to get this new look style that we go for, so that very refined, understated kind of Singapore Airlines sleek look that you're looking at here. All those things you'd expect from a lounge point of view, so your Wi-Fi throughout. There's a drinks option there, long bar up just at the back of that room, so you can imagine yourself, stress-free without you. Just before you flight, is you have your champagne, maybe a Singapore sling. There's a rotating buffet menu throughout the day, so it goes from breakfast throughout all the day to lunch and dinner as well. So really nice options for any customers in business class, that is, in our lounge, or those that qualify from our KrisFly membership program. Where there's also a separate, more private room for first class passengers, so anyone who first gets a much more refined and slightly more curated experience in our first class lounge there as well. So that's our departure points and the advantages of Heathrow there. And then now we're going to move on to our cabin products. So we're going to look at our A380 because that shows you our first class suites down to economy. So let me play this video. So we'll head upstairs and we'll look at our A380 suites. There's 6 of these suites on board. If you've got any first class passengers in the A380, this is what they would be flying in. Unique thing here, you've got 2 people together, you can drop that partition, the closing door is as close to a hotel room as you're going to get in an aeroplane. Business class still upstairs. We're looking at a 1-2-1 configuration. So the advantage there, everyone's facing forward, everyone's got aisle access, big wide seat, 6'4" length of bed. So it's a huge slice of space we offer to each of our customers in business. In these kind of cocoon seats that you look at here. Okay, touch your button, both to the lie flat position. Yes, nice rest. Business. Premium economy, so this is available on all our UK flights and premium economy. Extra leg room, so about 6 inches extra in leg room. You also get priority boarding, priority check-in. Get champagne, and then you also get a slightly elevated meal option. Off with our economy class, nice comfortable seat, 11-inch screen. The service element I spoke about, our cabin crew a few times, they really look after every customer. That's where I think really stands out from the competition. Thank you for watching all that. That gives you a good flavour of our cabins. And one thing I should mention that's relatively recently changed for us is that now all our aircraft network-wide have a lie flat business class bed option. So not always the same one that you saw in the video, but we do have a lie flat bed even on short, medium haul flights as well. So we've got that real consistent product that really matches that service we're known for. So yeah, that's well worth noting. So if you imagine now we've landed, we've taken our flight, you're well rested, and you've landed in Singapore. So I guess you've got two customer bases. You've got those that are transiting through, and then you've got those who are perhaps stopping in Singapore and staying for a while. Those that are transiting through are going to be lucky enough to go through an award-winning airport. And if I just pick up on a few things to kind of mention for your customers, if you do have someone with a longer transit time, they can tap into something that we know is the free city tour. So if they've got 5.5 hours or longer in Singapore Airport, they can do a free tour, 2-hour tour out into the city. There's different tours. There's a Sentosa, a nighttime one, heritage one, and it gives you a real flavour. I've been on it myself, of different areas of Singapore. So you kind of you get taken by a guide as well. So they give you a lot of information. It's really interesting ways to kind of break up your journey if you do have a longer transit in Singapore. So that's well worth noting for any customers. If they're just staying within the airport, I mean, it's an airport with many places to kind of wow customers and keep them entertained with the movie rooms, the butterfly garden. There's a swimming pool that I think is 20 Singapore dollars. You can go up and swim in the rooftop pool. Yeah, loads of fun places to get lost in Changi. We've also got the Jewel now as well, so which is the building in this dome building that we're just looking at here. This is the inside of it. So this is actually landsides. You would need to be in Singapore, which well worth noting as well if you've got customers with some time either before the flight or again with a longer transit. This is a Jewel. It's 7 different floors of shops, eateries, experiences that customers can tap into. It's got the world's largest indoor waterfall, so the bottom left picture there, and they do a light and music show quite regularly. It's very much got that green theme throughout, so the garden city, if you will, of Singapore is very much felt within the refines of the Jewel as well, and it kind of another elevation to the experience of going through Changi Airport. And I spoke about 2 customer groups. We've also got those passengers who stop for a few days in Singapore. And I would urge, if you've got time and your itineraries allow it with your customers, and she was talking about the fares that you guys have access to, so the ITX fares, the NDC fares, will all allow you to do this, which is to break up the ticket and have a nice stop in Singapore. It very much lends itself to 2-3 nights as you go off to either down to Australia, New Zealand, or perhaps the same within Southeast Asia, as a lot of our customers do. I guess the most common thing that people say to me when they talk about Singapore, like, "Oh, I wish I did one more night." It's not short of things to do. You've got award-winning experiences like the gardens by the bay that you can see in top right, which again has an amazing light and music show every night that's completely free. You've got the hotels that are, world famous hotels, experiences. You've got the beach side of things in Sentosa and the theme parks and that side of things. You've got the heritage of Little India, Chinatown. The food is probably the one thing that everyone says, just the food is amazing at some of the hawker stalls. You can get Michelin starred meals. So yeah, Singapore is a stopover, well worth thinking about that and breaking that and enhancing your customers' holiday by adding that into the itinerary. And then in terms of, we've flown and stopped or going onwards from Singapore. Just going to pick up on some of the key points that you guys will be selling through both Asia, and then also we'll look at Southwest Pacific as well. So in terms of our core, probably the two biggest would be our Bali flights, so Denpasar down in Indonesia and Phuket in Thailand. So you can see the volume, 42 weekly flights into those destinations. But where our real strength lies is the number of flights we have within Southeast Asia. And if you can start to just look at some of those points and you can probably start to piece together interesting itineraries, in and out of perhaps into Bangkok and out of one of the Vietnamese airports, as people do kind of interesting overland itineraries, or common one would be into Bangkok out of Phuket, as people combine, Bangkok and some of the islands or whatever it might be. People tagging on Cambodia. All these things are well within our wheelhouse with how many flights and the frequencies we have within Southeast Asia. So just highlighting some of the top ones there. And as I say, also wanting to really lean on our Australian network. So this kind of number of flights that you're looking at here makes us the most busiest international airline down to Australia. And again, those frequencies and the depth of flights that we have is one of our key selling points. So often people going into Australia will come in and out of a separate airport. Open jaw tickets are well popular kind of down in this region. So you can see again and start to piece together some of the itineraries that I'm sure you guys are selling. And also you'll see that we fly into places like Darwin, Cairns, Adelaide, sometimes that are less frequented and harder to get to. So offering customers a real different slice of Australia down there as well. And then finally, I just need to pick up on one kind of real key new thing for us, is that from 23rd of November 26, we will be flying from the Western Sydney Airport. So this is a brand new airport, and from speaking to a lot of people in the trade, that perhaps the idea of a new airport in Sydney hasn't quite made it over to the UK yet. But yeah, so it's well worth having a quick look and understanding that there's going to be a brand new airport, Western Sydney Airport. It's about 45 minutes out of town to the west, as the name suggests, from Sydney. If you compare that to Sydney International Airport, which is about 15 minutes from downtown, so it's further out. But the advantage of that, as we kind of know the restraints of Heathrow over in the UK, they're similar in Sydney. So it allows us as a airline to get those peak flight times later at night. So it works really well for us in terms of being able to give those customers a full day before they fly back early in the evening. It also gives great access to the kind of Blue Mountains, and people are doing fly drives. It really serves itself well for those, and it's well connected to the city as well with tram lines, train, a toll-free highway as well. So yeah, well worth thinking about that. As I was speaking about those new flights to Gatwick earlier in the presentation, Western Sydney is a similar place where these flights are relatively new to the network. So again, if you're looking and have customers who are open to different options, you can look at Western Sydney as being slightly more favourable in some of the availability just at the moment. So that's worth bearing in mind. And then last but not least, New Zealand, one of my favourite destinations. And with that, in October, we've actually increased our Auckland flights to two daily as well. So, and then with our joint venture with Air New Zealand, there's actually 3 daily flights into Auckland. So again, huge options throughout the winter, our winter, down into New Zealand. So yeah, lots going on and lots of extra capacity to keep your customers happy on their travels. So let's then move away from where we're flying to and how we fly people, and we're going to look a little bit about some of the onboard experience. And one thing that I'd definitely urge your customers to take note of, and yourselves as agents to realise you can offer your customers, is something called Book the Cook, and this allows your passengers to pre-allocate the food before their flight. So anyone in premium economy and above can use this, and it really kind of upgrades and gives whole new options. Things like lobster thermidors. I've seen people have steaks, burgers, all these things that you don't traditionally would be eating on a plane. So that's Book the Cook. They can manage that themselves through the Manage My Booking part of our website. And that's, yeah, as I say, called Book the Cook. And then my next slide is going to be a video. We're going to look at some of the wines. We're past midday, so I think it's okay to be talking and thinking about alcohol, and you'll start to get an idea of how much thought and preparation goes into the food and the drink that we offer our customers to really offer that high-class, elevated experience. So let me play this video for you.
It's what we do on the ground that lifts us in the air. In this episode of 0 to 30,000 feet, let's discover the lengths our people go to curate the best wine collection in the sky. A fresh and crisp Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand. A soft yet powerful Malbec from Argentina. Every sip a customer enjoys in the air, someone studied it, critiqued it, and chose it over something else. This someone is our wine consultants and in-flight services team. Red, white, champagne, they seek out the best wines from the old world and the new. Take, for example, we have more than 40 Grand Cru and Premier Cru Burgundy wines, maturing slowly and gaining complexity for future pouring. Our team has two visions in mind: wines of exceptional quality, made by serious and exciting producers. Take our newest star, for example, the Louis Roederer Cristal Champagne 2015, known for its scarcity, sheer quality, and overall elegance. We introduced it to suites and first class last December, and it was well received. A crucial part of our wine program is our air sommeliers. Passionate, enthusiastic, deeply knowledgeable. They are the conduit between our experts behind the scenes and our customers. For us, wine excellence is paramount. Every calculated choice, every chance discovery, coming together in a swirl and a sip. World class is about dedicating yourself to every process, so everyone gets to taste great moments in the air. We hope you enjoyed the journey from 0 to 30,000 feet.
There you go. So yeah, we, as I say, the first and only airline to be offering first class customers our Cristal champagne. So that's exclusive to Singapore Airlines. So yeah, it gives you a level of I think each bottle of it is about $400 of that champagne in particular. So yeah, gives you an idea of the level of service and care we offer to all our customers with our food and drink. As I said, these are some of the options, so you can start to think and piece together how a customer can really create the whole experience to their own tastes and their own palates. So I'm just going to move on and kind of wrap up the presentation now. Just included one slide on some of the awards we've won recently. So I include this from a kind of a point of view, giving some stamp of approval to everything I've said today. You obviously, hopefully, already have quite an idea of what Singapore Airlines are all about, but we do win awards consistently for our high class service, our crew, our cabins on board. We get things like the Airline of the Year at the Travel Industry Awards. So just gives you that extra level of assurance as you're offering Singapore Airlines to your customers. And then I'm going to wrap up just bullet point style with some of the key points that hopefully I've mentioned already today, but those daily flights from Manchester have already started. We've got our double daily from Gatwick, so please bear that in mind. Melbourne, we've got extra seats as that A380 goes down to Melbourne. 3 dailies to Auckland with our joint venture with Air New Zealand I spoke about. The lie flat business network wide is a big one for us, so that real consistent product across our network is really key to us. Okay, what's one thing I didn't mention? One thing that's slightly out of date now as well. So complimentary Wi-Fi in all cabins. So if they sign up to KrisFlyer, your customers will get free Wi-Fi on board. So that's worth noting. And then, yeah, perhaps slightly out of date now, but we do have live TV on board. So we did have the World Cup World Cup matches on board. But yeah, things like once the Premier League comes back, we have live sport and live TV, which is well worth noting. And then I mentioned the Wi-Fi on board, but that's going to be upgraded as well in 2027 as we move to a Starlink broadband connection, which will give an elevated and increased power to our Wi-Fi on board. So they were all the points I've said today. I really appreciate everyone listening. Please pop any questions into the chat and I'm happy to tackle them. And then finally, I've just got a QR code. And step in if I'm not mentioning anything correctly, but this will be the quiz for you guys to win a voucher. And I think it wraps up at 5:30 today. So take note of that, put your answers, and hopefully everything relates to anything I've said today. So again, appreciate everyone listening, and I'm here for any questions.
Thank you, Joe. So the quiz, it will be a £50 Love to Shop voucher, and like I said earlier, the winner will be announced tomorrow on our social media channels. So any questions? Thank you so much, Joe, for that informative presentation. I am a fan of these free city tours, with the long connections. I just think it's a good selling point when there are long connections that they do have so much they can do in between. You almost want to encourage long connections for that reason, just so they can take advantage of the city tours and the beautiful airport, the Jewel. It looks stunning. Yet to go there myself. But yes, so we do have a question from Paul. Is the daily service out of Manchester planned to be permanent?
Yeah, it's a permanent addition, so that's now in the system and should be loaded for as far as possible. So that's a long time in the making, so really supportive of anyone who's booked us over the years. And if anyone's spoken to me over the years, I've been banging a drum for Manchester to go daily for a while. So it's in there and it's made permanent. It's obviously our job to make that stick. So if you have any customers in and around the north, please bear that in mind and book them up. And again, I've said it a few times, but these extra Gatwick flights, the Melbourne capacity, the new Western Sydney airport, and it also relates to the new Manchester flight. The new days we're flying, top of my head, Thursday and a Monday, they've only just gone in the system kind of 8 weeks ago or so. So there is still slightly better availability on certain days from Manchester. So again, if you've got customers with a bit of flexibility, bear that in mind. So.
Okay, brilliant. Paul says lovely at long last. So I think that's going to go down well, the daily flights from Manchester.
Appreciate it.
Any more questions from anybody else? I think everybody will be busy with the phones out and the cameras scanning the QR code probably.
Hopefully, please take the quiz.
But we'll give it another second. Oh, hello. Are there any plans to upgrade the meal experience in premium economy? Air New Zealand have a dedicated premium economy crew, menu and wine list, and we have received negative feedback about the Singapore experience from clients who are on a combined Singapore-New Zealand flight itinerary.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting. I'll have to look at what Air New Zealand offer from their premium economy point of view. So I don't know how much ours differs, but a point for me to take away, and that'll be useful to know for future. So from our premium economy meal option, it's a different meal to economy, so it is an elevated meal already. So I'll be interested to know how different that is versus Air New Zealand. They also, from a food and drink point of view, in premium economy, offer champagne, which we wouldn't offer in economy. And then finally, in premium economy as well, they can do the book the cook, so they can pre-allocate different meal options that I was speaking about earlier as well. So I don't know. I don't know Air New Zealand do something above and beyond that, but there is already an elevated meal experience in premium economy. I just take note of that. I wouldn't know whether that's entirely different to how Air New Zealand do it.
Yeah, well, it's something to take away, isn't it? Joe, and have a look into that. And Paul, we will keep you posted. If you want, I can put you guys in touch with each other and continue that conversation. I said, in all fairness, the SQ economy meal service is better than New Zealand. So
okay.
I think it's just a premium economy.
It might have been a preference thing, but yeah, interesting to know feedback also.
No. Yeah, thanks for that, Paul. It's appreciated. Do we have any more questions from anybody else before we sign off? Right. Looks like we're done then, Joe. Once again, thank you everybody for your time today. Good luck with the quiz, and most of all, thank you to Joe for taking out your time again to come and do some product training with the all our Faremine agents. So enjoy the rest of your day, everybody, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thanks, Ange. Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.